An important skill to have is the ability to solve inequalities. Now I'm going to go into this lecture assuming that you're comfortable with solving equations, and we're just going to take that next step to transfer it to solving inequalities. Because the awesome thing is we already have all the rules under our belt to solve inequalities. There's only one special rule that we need to take into consideration when we have that inequality. And that is if you multiply or divide by a negative number, has to be negative, then you must flip the inequality. That means, let's say you were doing negative 2x is greater than 4. We'd have to divide both sides by a negative, right? So that would cancel and you would get x. Now since we divided by a negative, we need to flip that inequality to a less than and then simply divide. That's essentially what the rule is. Now be careful, because if we're just dividing by a positive number, we don't have to worry about anything, and we can just go about our daily solving routine and go for it. So over there, when we divided by a positive number, we didn't have to worry about it. Don't have to worry about anything. So let's do some more examples. So here I have an inequality. Be careful that inequality separates the left-hand side from the right-hand side in our inequality. We always want to go ahead and start by moving our constants to the right-hand side. So let's go and add 17 to both sides, because what you do to one side, you better do to the other. Negative 3x is greater than or equal to 17 plus 17 is going to be 24. Now what you have to do to both sides is we have to get rid of this negative 3. It's being multiplied, so let's divide both sides by negative 3. Now since I divided by a negative, yikes, oh no, we have to go ahead and flip that inequality so it becomes less than or equal to 24 divided by negative 3 is negative 8. So that would be my inequality, but it's also asking me to write its solution step set or interval notation. Let me write interval notation. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is just draw a graph. This comes along pretty quickly as you get used to it and get more comfortable. So 8 is shaded in because it's equal to, shade to the left, boom, 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 boom. Now, what is my starting value? Now this is going to the left, so it's negative infinity to positive 8. Now the positive 8 is included, so I'm going to go ahead and throw a bracket around there. Notice next to my infinity, I did use a parenthesis because it can never actually reach infinity. Okay, so that would be my interval notation, and I am done. Woohoo! I even graphed it in there just for fun. Let's do another example though. So we're solving this inequality, and the first thing that I always want to do when solving equations, I want to make sure the two sides are already simplified as far as possible. The right-hand side of this inequality is simplified. You've got a variable and a constant. We can't bring those together. Not going to work. But over here, we have some parentheses that I could get rid of by distributing. Let's multiply those in. Still have some like terms over here that I can bring together. Then negative 21 and 2, let's add those together to give me negative 19. It looks like I now have the left-hand side simplified, so I just want to start by moving my constants to the other side, doing the opposite operation, adding 19. $31. Okay, and then we want to move our variables to the other side, so then I will subtract 4x to get it to the opposite side of my inequality. Zeros out. So I have 3x on the left, 31 on the right. Divide both sides by 3. This is Not going to be a pretty answer. So you'll simply have x is greater than or equal to 31 over 3. Notice that I did not switch the inequality simply because we're dividing by a positive number. Dividing by a positive indicates we do not have to do anything. We can move on with our life. So I just typed this into the calculator. It's about 10.3. It's 10.3 repeating. So if I were to draw on the number line, here's 10, 11, 9. Go ahead and draw a circle around 10.3. Shade it in because it is equal to. We're looking for x is greater than, so all the values to the right. Boom. Okay. Now, of course, what is our starting value to write in interval notation? It looks like 10.3 or the 31/3. Let's use the proper fraction or the improper fraction as it is called. But a precise number, right? 31/3. And then it's going on to positive infinity. Now, of course, positive infinity is not included, so we need to use the parentheses. And there you have it, interval notation, bing, bang, boom. That is how you solve inequalities. Of course, I'd love for you to practice some more. Make sure you're getting the hang of it and being careful of those negatives in your homework.